The top 10 things to know or do going into retirement. Number one, evaluate your current financial position. So when you go into retirement, not only do you want to know how much retirement savings you have, but you want to also know, what your Social Security is going to be when you decide to start drawing Social Security. What is your pension going to be when you start drawing it, if you're lucky enough to have a pension, that is. What other income streams do you have going into retirement that are going to be there for you to take advantage of and have? The reality is all of these things together is what's going to set the stage for what your retirement is going to look like. You don't have to be a millionaire to be to retire. You can live on a lot less than $1 million and have a very, very fulfilling retirement. But you also got to make sure that you understand that if you don't have the millions of dollars in the bank, that you can't act like you have millions of dollars in the bank. Plan your retirement to be what it should be, what you have accumulated, the means that you have put together during your working years of your life. Another thing that I would say to this is make sure you have an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months to me is a good example and a rule of thumb that people use to have as an emergency fund. One thing you don't want to happen, and Murphy will kick in if you aren't ready for this, for something to happen right after you retire that's going to cause you to have to get stressed or draw more money out of your retirement than you'd planned on because something came up because you didn't have a emergency fund. Say your air conditioning unit goes out, that's $6,000 or $7,000. If you got a good emergency fund, that's just something that it's there for, and it takes care of it. You don't have the stress. You may not like it, obviously, but it takes a lot away when you have that in your back pocket. Number two, have a plan around when you plan to start Social Security. A lot of people probably start Social Security as soon as they retire. They probably worked until they were ready to start taking Social Security. So you definitely have done your research. You probably know what your Social Security is going to be, and there you go. For many others, like myself included, I retired before my full retirement age by many years, and I've decided to hold off as long as I can. In my situation, I'm fortunate in that my wife is still working and we're able to live off of her income, so I'm don't have to start my Social Security as yet. She plans on retiring in a couple of years, so that's probably when I'll start my Social Security, so that we can offset my Social Security with what we take out of our retirement savings. So all I'm saying is just have a plan around it. Also, if you are continuing to work part-time or full-time after you start taking Social Security, please know if you're not your full retirement age, which for me is 67 and for most it's 67 now, just make sure that you don't exceed those limits because they are very painful if you did it, almost to the point of where you're better off not working if you exceed those limits. Number three, understand Medicare. I know again, I'm not to Medicare age, so I'm starting to learn about it, like a lot of people are. And man, it's a lot more complicated than I thought. There's Part A, B, C, D, N, to name a few. There's probably some other letters I don't even know about yet. Advantage plans versus supplemental plans. All I'm saying all this to tell you, not to complicate it, but to tell you that it's something you need to understand a little bit better than you may think. It's not as easy as just going up and signing up for it and starting it. There's a lot of decisions that you need to make that you can't undo, so to speak. And so you need to make sure that you have a handle on that. You also have to sign up, I think, 6 months before to 6 months after your age of 65 to make sure there's no penalties. So make sure you understand those ins and outs of Medicare. By the way, my name is Jeff. I'm a retired farm boy. My channel is dedicated to talk about topics that come up to people that are thinking about retirement, people that are retired like myself in the early years, and also some of the travel and things that you do, and some of the many great things that retirement brings in your life. So look forward to sharing that in many videos coming forward. If you see something in my videos that you like, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe. At the end of this video, if there's something in it that you found that you liked, I'd sure appreciate it if you just like it. Also, comments. I'd love to get your comments to better understand how I can improve and get better. So look forward to that. On with the countdown. Number 4, be debt-free or have a plan to get out of it. For anyone that's been debt-free in their life or are now, they know the benefits of not having any debt to deal with. There's enough debt associated with retirement that that you don't want to have anything extra. There's always going to be car insurance if you have vehicles, house insurance, utility bills, phone, cable. All those things are bills that you will continue to have, sorry to say, after retirement. But you don't want to have anything extra, particularly a mortgage or anything like that. Try to be debt-free if at all possible. But if you can't be, make sure you have a plan to get out of debt sometime as soon as you can, because the quicker you can get out of debt, the more I guarantee you will enjoy your retirement. Number 5, test your budget a few months before you retire. Try to put a pencil to things and make sure you know what you're spending, for example, on groceries. You don't want to be surprised and find out that after you retire, you're spending twice as much on groceries, or your utility bills are, a lot higher than you guessed that they were. Those kind of things. Know what your insurance is, because you don't necessarily pay them every month, so sometimes those can sort of sneak up on you. So make sure you know what your insurance on your home is, your insurance on your cars. Don't let those things catch you by surprise. So just be ready for those things before they come up and get you in retirement. This goes right along with that. Number 6, ensure that you have more income than you have expenses. So I know that's a no-brainer perhaps, but the reason I want to point this out is, you, just as I've mentioned about expenses, they may turn out to be more. If you haven't went through that process, you may be surprised at what your expenses are. The same thing could be true with your income. Maybe some things that you had planned on having income for, maybe that part-time job went away, or you want to quit that part-time job, as an example. Maybe your investment income or source that you had for some income went away on you, or, something like that happens. So make sure that your income is always greater than your expenses. The gravy of that is, if it's anything over your expenses, that's the play money, that's the fun money, right? That you can enjoy and do the things that you can get away with in retirement, so to speak, and enjoy yourself even more. Number 7, have a plan for insurance. To me, this is just as important as having retirement savings. It could be catastrophic if you did not have insurance and something happened to you in retirement or just ready to go into retirement. It could be the difference between being able to retire or not be able to retire. So having insurance to fall back on. I know none of us like to pay the insurance premiums. They're very expensive. They're too high. We can all complain about all that, but man, the reality is, if you didn't have insurance and something happened, even with something like a broken leg or something, it could cost you, tens of thousands of dollars and out of your pocket if you did not have insurance. And nobody really wants to have that burden to deal with when they go into retirement. Number 8, consider how you spend your time. So you're going to have a lot of time. Time is freedom, they say. So make sure you know how, have an idea of how you're going to spend it. Maybe you just want to kick back and do nothing. That's what I did for the first couple months. I didn't do a whole lot. I admit that. Maybe you want to start some hobbies, new hobbies, get back into some old hobbies. Spend more time with friends, catching up. I know that's been a great thing for me. Those are the kind of things that you need to think about. Be able to know what you're going to do with some of your time. You'll figure it out, and you don't have to know every day what you're going to do. But put some little thought into that and time into thinking about, what does my day look like in retirement? Number 9, get in the habit of monitoring your retirement savings, making sure you understand where you are from a balance sheet perspective, so to speak. I suggest doing it monthly. I'm a geek a little bit, so I definitely follow this. I've been following it for years and years before I retired, and I continue to do it after retirement. I think it's a great habit to get into. It sort of settles you a little bit at the end of the month when you go through things and you say, okay, they're on track. That's where I thought they'd be, and you know that. That makes you feel comfortable. It just makes things a little easier when you know how your retirement is going and that it's on the track that you expected it to be. And number 10 is a pretty easy one. Just do it. I'm telling you. When I retired, it was a little bit early for me. I didn't really want to necessarily do it. I did want to do it, don't get me wrong. But I had a lot of regrets about, should I have done it at that time? A lot of thinking, maybe I should go back to work and that kind of thing, or at least work part-time. But I'm telling you, since I've been retired and gotten into the groove of it, so to speak, man, there's nothing like it. Being able to have that time to spend with your loved ones, catch up with old friends, do things you got out of the habit of doing. In my case, getting healthy, so I'm going to the gym now 3 times a week. So being able to do those things has been a great blessing. On top of having time to look after loved ones like my mom, who's getting on up there in age. It's been a blessing to be able to have that time to spend with her. So that would be my advice for anyone. Just do it. If you went through the 10 things that I've mentioned here, the 9 things rather, and you get to number 10, just do it, man. If you're good on those first 9, just do it. This is Jeff signing out.